Oh, would you look at that, Vlad?
Yes.
The stars are out. Would you like to gaze at them with me?
Yes.
Greetings.
Greetings, fellow stargazers. We're cutting the part out that would make you want to cancel us.
So today...
We're day 3 tomorrow.
Oh.
Tomorrow
Tomorrow.
isn't just a new year.
A new you.
It's a new decade. New decade, new you.
Oh, man.
I'll have to start losing the weight like this marvelous human being did. He's gone. He left. That's how much weight he lost. He just... Oh, there he is.
New me. Tomorrow. Today is just still me. I only went over there. You alright?
I am fine. Just,
You got that jiggle.
So, we've been talking about our favorite things of the decade. The 2010s.
Whiplash.
We talked about our favorite video games.
Who?
We talked about our favorite TV shows.
Hot dang!
And today, we're going to end with our favorite movies from the 2010s.
Get that Antonio Banderas. Yeah. So,
now,
wait. No, go ahead.
A lot of my movies are from the first half of the decade because I became a parent in the second.
Yeah, we saw ridiculously less amounts of movies over the past, for me, the past, 5 years.
I've been
6
to
years.
3 movies this year. Mm-hmm. Star Wars, Joker.
You went to Endgame, didn't you?
Endgame.
Yeah.
Maybe, is there a 4th at the beginning of the year? I used to go to the theater. I love going to the theater. It's so much fun.
But
I can't remember anything before May of seeing Endgame in theaters.
I'd literally have to look at a list because I don't know otherwise. I've been to a few. Memorably, I went to Endgame. I saw Dr. Sleep. I saw Shazam. I saw Rise of Skywalker.
You are already way more than me.
Saw Joker. I know there's more. I don't know what they are off the top of my head.
I love going to the theater. I'm looking forward to my kids are older and I don't feel as bad leaving them with the sitter.
No, I agree. Right now, it's very much it's very important. It's every minute, things change, day to day.
Well, it's not just that. It's just kind of you're 2, and if something happens, you can kind of tell me, but kind of can't.
Oh, I see. Oh, sure. No, I get that. Oh, you mean just like a sitter, not like mom.
Or even mom, but no, I guess with a sitter, or leave her with mom, but I don't want to leave my kids all the time with my parents. Put them to bed for me. Yeah. So I can go to the movies.
Yeah.
So I can live my life. No. But anyway.
Yeah, so we're doing 3. We've done 3 of these. The first one you started.
The third one.
The second one I started.
So
we're going to do this one at the same time.
Okay.
Okay, on 3, just say one on your list. Okay, ready? 1, 2, 3. Scott Pilgrim. Nuh-uh.
I knew you were going to say that.
Did you? How'd you know?
That's one I can see your list. And you can see it on mine. Did you see it?
I didn't see it.
You didn't see it?
I didn't see it on yours. But
I knew you were going to say it. That's why I said it first. But my gosh, Scott Pilgrim.
Dude, Scott Pilgrim. We're one of our friends to help us out here. We moved all of them. Here, let's get Ramona. Just chill out with us. Yeah.
So this is the first movie I watched with my wife.
The first one?
When we were I saw it in theaters. I hadn't even met her yet when it came out in theaters.
Okay.
But after I met her, I went out to see her and my now brother-in-law, who was a good friend of mine from college. I'm like, I got to show you this film, Scott Pilgrim. It's fantastic.
Yeah.
Did not appreciate it at all.
Who? What? Really?
My wife. Just that was weird. I did not.
It is weird.
But the visuals, everything. It's just so good.
Yeah. I mean, it was so crazy to get a game that was so pro gamer, but without being stupid in your face of hey, look how cool this is, gamer friends. Xbox, Nintendo, your kids like it. Yeah. Instead, it was very much this is what it feels like to be, 1, in a video game, but super unaware and super unreferential to it, and 2, to be hyper into just gamer culture and references without being annoying, truly respecting it for what it is.
Yeah.
And I mean, that's at its core. That's before you take in how good the music is, how good the visuals are, how hilarious the acting and writing is.
It is a comedy. This is the thing I like about it.
Yeah.
It's a comedy that fully utilizes the film medium to its greatest potential.
Yeah.
I mean, it uses audio, visuals, writing, every sub-medium that goes to create the full medium of film, it uses it to comedic effect.
Right.
Everything.
Yeah.
Editing, how things enter and exit frames, how lighting effects add to comedic effects.
Yeah.
Like suddenly how he starts to feel isolated in something and the lights go dark behind him and they bring him back to reality, everything comes back and the lights flare up.
And there's a laugh track, you know what's saying? And I mean, what's crazy about it is, like, if you take Brian Lee O'Malley's comic and the way that Edgar Wright took literal frames and turned them into beautiful cinematic scenes.
Oh, gosh.
But if you put them side by side, it's identical.
Yeah.
And yet you would never know it. You wouldn't think, oh, yeah, that looks like he's just...
There are points that are shot by shot from the comic, but it works. He makes it work.
So well.
And it's not forced in, it's natural.
Yeah.
And I just love the scene when he's going to fight the last boss. He's putting on everything, and it's like that big superhero, like the Batman, the Shoemaker Batman movies, when he's putting the stuff on.
Yeah.
And then it cuts to him gently tying his shoe. Yeah. And it's just stuff like that, the little pacing stuff.
Yeah.
And it's all used to comedic effect to its fullest.
Well, especially, you know, like, Gideon being this, like, super big bad boss, and yet he's just very unassuming. You know, he's like, get this man a Coke Zero.
It's Jason Schwartz,
I know,
right?
like,
Schwartzman?
how... Yeah, Schwartzman. Like, how threatening is that man?
Not at all.
Yeah. And
Sorry,
yet,
Jason Schwartzman.
Well, no, I think he would appreciate. But then it gets to that point, especially, like, the second time around. You know, he's tying his shoe again, it says, you know, ×2 or whatever. And he comes through, and, like, the code to get in place is like, ugh. And he's like, going in. You know, it's little things like that, like, the humor was super prevalent. It wasn't slapstick. It was silly, but in, like, the best way possible.
There were slapstick moments in there, definitely. But it was... I just love the part. Scott learned the power of self-respect. And the sword goes on in his heart.
Right? I mean, Scott Pilgrim is... I mean, far and above for me. I think that'd probably be my number one. If I were to rank them, I'm not ranking
That's
them.
why it's at the top for me.
I'm not,
but that's number one.
Yeah. Okay, now give me a second. I'll let you go this time without me annoying you.
I'm just going to go down my list. Rogue One. I love Star Wars. Huge Star Wars fan. I almost put Force Awakens. Because that's what brought Star Wars back.
Yeah. And that's a great movie.
But then when I thought about, like, you know what? Force Awakens brought Star Wars back. Rogue One declared it was back.
Right.
And that was a Star Wars movie I wanted.
Yeah.
I mean, I wanted Force Awakens. I like Force Awakens. But Rogue One just... That almost was a disaster of a film, too. I've watched a documentary, like a amateur documentary on YouTube that went through all the interviews and even some insider knowledge. Like, this is how Rogue One almost failed. Like,
really?
It's a fine line between not just failure and success, but utter disaster and utter greatness. Yikes. And this movie... before the reshoots, was on the side of utter disaster. But it was just a few small changes that were still substantial reshoots, but it was small changes that made the film work.
Really?
Yeah.
Well, you know, it's great. Like, I mean, it's a great movie. I think if you almost separate, like, the Star Wars, like, saga and then take films, this was such a good Star Wars film. Like, in and of itself, like, you take this one thing and you're like, this is so truly Star Wars. That it is, I can't live without it now. In, like, my rewatches of everything, it has to go there.
Yeah.
Before I start that original trilogy again. And the one scene that solidifies it as, like, one of the greatest pieces of cinema is Vader at the end.
Oh, my gosh. That was a last-minute edition.
That
was a last-minute edition.
And if it wasn't there, the movie is, like, a big notch lower.
Yeah.
Because that scene alone was, like, oh, my gosh.
The lights go off.
We actually fear this creature.
Yeah.
Like, we never did. Like, he's so... I mean, he is a force, you know, as if you watch the original trilogy, like, this
He's a presence.
Yeah, big
He's
time.
a presence, but this was a force.
Oh my gosh.
And I remember my brother-in-law called me when it came out. He's like, hey, would it be okay if I take my son to this? What do you think? You saw it. And I did not want to spoil that moment, because, like, not having that moment spoiled, I told him, listen, there's a scene. In my opinion, it's utterly frightening.
Yeah.
It's scary. I think it sounds 6 or 7 at the time. Like, I would see it first and you make the judgment call. Part of it would say, yeah, take the kid, he'll love it. But it's a Star War movie.
Yeah.
Like, they lean into the war side. It's not the lightsaber fights, not the good versus evil. This is like, hey, by the way, there's some moral ambiguity on the rebel side too.
Right.
And
there's a lot of death.
I'd see it first, because also you're gonna want to see it twice.
Yeah, right. Yeah, so you're gonna want to see it again anyways. That movie belongs on the list.
Yeah.
Good choice. All right. So another one for me would be Pacific Rim.
Okay. I get to see this movie.
Yeah.
I want to watch it.
You haven't seen it?
I want to watch it.
Okay. See, the first one is so we were just talking about...
I've heard it called the best worst movie. Or the best bad movie.
I could accept that.
Yeah.
So Scott Pilgrim, right, is so, like, beautifully gamer-friendly. This is so beautifully, like, anime fan-friendly. Where it's, like, these giant, like, set pieces and ridiculous monsters that they have these made-up names for. Like, this huge military that has spent, like, millions. And this guy that, like... It's like, I'm out. I'm never doing it again. And they bring him in. It's like, but you're the best. We need you to come back and fight these monsters and save the world. He's like, I'm going to do it. And they bring him in. Like, the oldest model of this thing, that the only one I'm gonna spoil the loop if I go too far into it.
Yeah.
But the only one that runs on this certain thing, and like nobody else can do what they do, and so he brings it in. He has to like go into the drift with someone, and like you can't drift with anyone, but he catches with this girl Mako, and they're like awesome together, and they go in and fight these ridiculous beasts, and the fights are so good, and they just feel like they're slow, but they feel big. They almost feel like old Power Rangers, like really like old Godzilla, where it's like the movements are very like mechanical, you know, like the hit, but you can't, because it's so big. They're moving super fast, but to you they seem slow. And there's this one scene where a punch goes through like a building, and it stops, and like where it stops, it hits one of those like ball hitters on a desk, and the sheer force of it like stops before it, and the thing just like starts going, and you like feel the magnitude of what these are doing, like to the city and everything, and you almost forget for a second like how big these things are.
Yeah.
And you're like, oh crap, like this is and it's scary, it's funny, it's well done. I mean, it is ridiculous. I mean, if you just look at it at face value, it's kind of a cheesy, just kind of a hokey movie. But if you buy into it, just let yourself be taken into that world.
Yeah.
It's so fun, and the music is great. Like Tom Morello had a big part in like helping to write the main theme, and whenever it plays, you get that like like the Wonder Woman, like you get that same feeling from it, just that power. I love that movie so much. I would die on that sword, man. It's one of my favorite movies of all time. All right, hit me with another one.
I decided to put The Social Network on here.
Oh, really?
With
Mark Zuckerberg. Mark
Zuckerberg.
Yeah. No,
well,
what's his
Jesse
Eisenberg? Yeah, Lex Luthor.
And it's Aaron Sorkin's writing.
Yeah.
It is. He composes music with words.
Well, I was gonna say, and the actual like score to that is so good.
But that movie has a rhythm in the dialogue that you have to kind of follow it and really pay attention, because it's not just that the dialogue is going quicker, has a quick rhythm, is that it's switching subjects so quickly sometimes. Yeah, you got to really read into the pretext. Yeah. In between the lines, but it's just, I don't know, something about the movie just captured me.
Okay.
The whole thing, front to back.
Yeah.
And
something like, did it influence like how you create things, or like is it that kind of movie, or do you just like to watch it? Is it just a good watch?
It's a bit of both. It's a bit of like, I want to like, if you want to know how to write good dialogue, or at least engaging dialogue, watch anything Aaron Sorkin has written.
Oh, for sure, I agree.
And so that to me is peak. Like, I saw Steve Jobs, the one with Michael Fassbender.
Okay, how was that?
It was enjoyable.
Okay.
I mean, I like how he was able to create and show the totality of Steve's life through 3 events. So Act 1 is the Mac announcement. Sure. Act 2 is him at Next. And then Act 3 is him coming back to Apple. But all of them are told at the conference.
Oh, okay.
Like the first one is him getting ready to do the announcement for the Mac.
Oh,
the
that's
first
cool.
Mac.
Yeah.
Second, and then it goes to the scene 2 where it's him ready to do an announcement for his next company.
Yeah.
Or whatever. And then in scene 3 it's like him, like, here's the new iMac, and he's back at Apple.
Right.
But
Social Network is still a cut above.
So Social Network is still a cut above.
Okay.
Because Social Network it's traveling back and forth in time and cutting in between 2 or 3 lawsuits, and you can follow it.
Yeah.
And so it's just, for me, it's a superb example of great writing.
Yeah. I still love
and great acting.
Oh,
too.
for sure.
Like,
yeah, I remember like when I watched it, I was super like moved, and I loved like the movie as it was. I didn't go back to it, but at the time I was very into like Aaron Sorkin stuff too.
Yeah.
But I thought the movie was really good. All right, let me hit you another one. Just be nice, okay? We've talked about this. I love Batman vs Superman. I love it.
I don't have anything against it. I don't think it's the greatest, but I don't have anything against it.
I genuinely love it. The extended version, like I've seen, as far as like long movies go,
the extended version is better.
I agree. Yeah, it's so much better. But as far as like long movies go, like I'll watch, The Lord of the Rings and stuff like that. But
in the extended version, they kill Jimmy Olsen. They introduce him and then kill him.
Yeah, the way he goes out is very important to the story.
I can see why they cut out why it was Jimmy Olsen though.
Yeah.
Because Tu's like, no, we want to still have Jimmy Olsen if we can at some point.
Right. But the way that it worked into the story was so good. Like, it explained so much more as to why things were happening.
Yeah.
Like, it filled in a lot of the gaps where you're like, why did you jump to there so quick? Well, if you would have given us another 5 minutes, we could have... It made it a little darker, too, with adding in those parts. I'm wondering, like, why Superman is doing that, or why do they hate Superman? Oh, it's because he did this thing, because that part... Oh, okay. There's a lot more just conjecture that could have been added to help the story. Yeah. Anyways, I love this movie so much. The soundtrack, the score is phenomenal. I thought Batfleck was the best Batman we ever had. I love Henry Cavill so much. I think that, obviously they brought in Wonder Woman, who is still amazing. and her scenes in that.
Kevin Conroy.
What?
Batfleck.
On screen, yes. By voice, no. Who's better than Kevin Conroy's Batman by voice? No one. Just like no one's better than Mark Hamill at the Joker.
I mean, Kevin Conroy played Bruce Wayne in that crossover thing.
Yeah, just Christ on Infinite Earth. Yeah, I didn't see it, but I would still go with Batfleck. I loved him. That's definitely one of my top movies. I understand it's not the best. I understand it's divisive. Release the Snyder Cut. I just love it.
I'll tell you who the worst Bruce Wayne is.
George Clooney.
No, well, he's close, but the nipples aren't his fault.
I understand that.
I want that out of context. The nipples aren't his fault, and then just,
that's a good T-shirt.
That's
the nipples aren't his fault.
The nipples aren't his fault. Nobody knows why. No, it's a clip from the Titans show that's on the DC streaming service, and it's the guy who plays Ser Jorah from Game of Thrones.
Okay.
And he is not doing an American accent well at all.
Oh no, that's always the worst. It's like Benedict Cumberbatch's.
Like he has the look. I mean, he was awesome as Ser Jorah in the Game of Thrones. He kind of is a badass, but
it's not working as Bruce.
He just make him British for this. Why not? But
he ain't Alfred.
Yeah.
All right, give me another one. What do you got?
Moonrise Kingdom.
Oh,
Wes Anderson.
Great movie.
It's just cute.
It is very cute.
I love Wes Anderson. I love his filmmaking style. There's a scene in there that I have no idea how they legally shot because a kid feels up another kid.
Oh yeah.
Like that is just.
I remember my wife and I in the theater just being like,
whoa, whoa. Like,
yeah.
somebody like my wife wanted to watch a kids movie, like watch Moonrise Kingdom. She's like, are you sure it's Wes Anderson? Wes Anderson's weird. Like you'll like this weird, but there is one scene you'll be shocked.
Yeah.
But like it's. Like I said, it's not like bad, but it's just kind of like, whoa, they did that.
Like it doesn't like cross into inappropriate because it still plays into like they're kind of cute. And you know what they're doing. But I tell you what, there are so many beautiful set pieces in that movie that are just like eye grabbing. Yeah. Where you're just like as you're watching, you're just constantly like, this could be an art piece. This could be an art piece. Like
I like seeing Bruce Willis not being Bruce Willis.
I agree.
I love seeing Bruce Willis be hokey.
Yeah, it works.
It works. He doesn't get to do it that often.
Yeah.
But I love Moonrise
Kingdom. The movie was silly, but it was very heartfelt. Like, I love those, like, not quite coming of age, but kind of love stories, but it's like, you don't really understand love, but and then the parents are always, like, kind of understanding, kind of not, and then, like, the side, I don't know. To me, his character creation is second to none.
Oh, he just gets it.
Yeah.
It's fun.
All right, let me hit you with one more. I'm going to do a quick one, okay? I wanted to say Zombieland.
I love Zombieland. Is that... Yeah, I guess it is 2010, right?
Yes, it is. Yeah,
I get to see Double Tap.
It's good.
Is it good?
It's Zombieland. Double Tap is hilarious. It's very good. It is so truly Zombieland.
But there's nothing like the original.
They needed more time with the cast to like flesh out scenes. It moves very quick. But it doesn't hurt the overall like quality of the film. It just in the first one they took a lot of time to like sit and ruminate, and they're different. Like there were so many settings that were great. Like some of the settings were like the characters in the first movie. And, like it was very important that they were like in Bill Murray's house. You know, things like that.
Yeah.
They took time there. This one they moved very quickly because I know that they had limited time with the whole cast. Like they just had to make it happen. The fact that they did is good enough. But the first Zombieland is it's hilarious. It's very well written, very well directed and edited. But when it comes down to it, it's actually scary. When it gets to the end, when they're in the carnival and it's like things are falling apart, it almost pulls a Shaun of the Dead. Where it's like, it's funny. It's like, oh, by the way, these characters might die right now.
Yeah.
And it's like, oh, crap. Like, this is actually kind of terrifying. You know, like, you play with these characters where they're just having fun through the majority of it, and they remind you, like, yes, this is fun because they've lived this long. It's like, now let's see what happens, you know?
Yeah.
And it does those two different genres so well that's why I kept, like, coming back to it.
See, to me, like, I'm not a fan of the zombie genre.
Okay.
At all. Like, you have to, because I can't buy into the premise.
Right.
But you make it a comedy... I'm on board.
Yeah.
Like, there's something about, like, you put this tongue-in-cheek, I'm on board. So Zombieland, like, I dug it.
Yeah.
That's why I like Shaun of the Dead. The reason a couple days ago I put Last of Us as my favorite game is because, one, the emotional weight of that is so good, but also the way they did zombies, like, I actually buy into this premise.
Right.
Because it's a unique premise, not just, like, this virus thing that changed people or, you know, really you don't need to be bitten to be changed. You could just go through the corpuscles and get changed. So, like, there's a premise of, like, I'm on board with the premise. You got me at the premise, but just about any other zombie flick, just the for me, the bar of suspension of belief is so high.
Yeah.
That you either have to dumb it down by making it a comedy, or you have to have such a unique premise that makes me go, I buy it.
Right. And this one, like, it does the dumbing down, and yet then it takes it a step up.
Yeah.
More.
Well, I don't want to say dumb it down, but a comedy just naturally has a lower bar of entry for suspension of belief. Sure. It's just the nature. I have a whole theory on suspension of belief in movies, and that different genres and different types and have different levels of suspension of belief that also can be affected by your quality of your film and writing, all that. But that's a whole other topic.
Yeah. And it's it's so creative, it's so funny, it's scary, it's beautiful. Like, I could literally watch it over and over, and every time just be charmed out of my mind. I just love that movie so. And Woody Harrelson, to me, like, I've always liked him. I fell in love with Woody Harrelson in that role. Like, and I'm now like a lifelong fan because of just how good he is in that movie. Do you have one more?
1.5.
1.5. Hit me with it.
Inception.
Ooh.
That movie clicked. Like, as I'm watching this movie, I could feel my imagination come unlocked. Yeah. And that was that effect. The visual effects were amazing. It had a complicated...
complicated.
It was a complicated premise. It's very high concept, but Christopher Nolan knows how to explain. I'm looking forward to Tenet.
Ooh, that looks cool.
That's another high concept complication that you have to figure out a way to visually and expositionally explain it without being like, now let me sit you down for the exposition, son. Right. But like have it feel natural that you're also feeling characters grow and progress.
Because like in Inception, like they don't talk like you should know everything. But they don't, like, explain to you like
they don't
your
be
child.
Like, let me write this down. Let's talk to Mr. Scientist man over here. Right. Which,
like, it works so well. Yeah, it's masterfully done.
I like how the point, like, one of the things, like, we got to figure out how to get on this airline. And the guy's like, I bought the airline. Like, that's the problem solved. Yeah. And then last one, I just want to mention this. Pitch Perfect. Oh. The reason I'm putting this on here, this movie...
That's amazing.
Surprised me. Yeah. Camera died right in the middle of my point. Right in the middle of my point.
It wasn't that good of a point.
It was a fantastic point.
Dear Lord. What kind of point is that?
You prick. Ah! But Pitch Perfect, right? Like, just that opening scene, and I'm expecting people to call the whole movie, and then suddenly the projectile vomit. I lost my damn mind. It's just like... I'm
on board.
I was in tears on the floor. And my wife's like, are you okay? It's the last thing I was expecting from this movie. Yeah. If you were to tell me what's the last thing you'd expect, I wouldn't even thought to mention a puke joke. Yeah. Maybe a poop joke, but this. Yeah. Projectile puke, I would not even thought. And then I'm like, I'm on board. I am in for the rest of the movie. You bought me. Yeah. And you've earned it.
Well, this was like my sister's favorite movie for like years.
It's hilarious. It is hilarious, and it's funny, and the music is fun.
Yeah, it is. But like, it is just fun, and it's one of those ones. You know how like Community had that whole thing about we're going to regionals. You know, they're making fun of Glee, and they were kind of making fun of like the acapella thing as a whole. Like this does that too, but then it also does like that type of thing well. Yeah. So it's almost like we just talked about Zombieland, like doing both, like knowing it's making fun of it, but it also does it well. Yeah. This does the same thing.
Yeah, I was just like, I'm on board. Yeah. I'm on board.
I mean, in my last one, I'll just throw it in there real quick because I know everybody loves Marvel movies, but Guardians of the Galaxy to me was just life-changing. It was so different. It was like I connected with the characters so much more. It was fun. It was very fun, and like I'm not a big like oldies music person, but for some reason like I really connected with the music in that. I mean, I love Chris Pratt. I already did, but
they made the music in that one very personal.
Oh, big character. Because when you realize, like, and when he does sit down, like when he opens up like the second mix and everything, and he puts it in, and like there were so many moments in that were truly emotional that weren't like trying to pull at you. They just played into the characters so well. Yeah. And I love, Rocket and Groot, like their relationship. Like there were so many things to love in that were just so in the end they felt personal, and you don't get that a lot in the Marvel movies, in my opinion. And that one just stuck with me, and I've watched it so many times since, and like every time. I'm like, there's something magical about this this universe. I ended up buying I have a pile of comics back here that's just all Guardians. Like, it sold me. I bought into the whole thing. I had to quit eventually because it got really expensive. But
not Marvel. It's Zelda. I just wanted to pick one up to show.
Next time we'll do a read along. Bring your children? Should they bring their children?
Oh, yes. We're appropriate for children.
Oh, yes. Check that box. This is it's not intended for children.
No, it's not.
So tell us, what movies did you like the best in the last decade? Not the best movies. What did you like the best?
Yeah.
What meant the most to you? It could have
been a bad movie.
Yeah, it's okay.
We had
a couple of, objectively bad. Not subjectively bad.
There's, you know what? There's one movie that is objectively bad. I haven't seen it. I want to see this movie. I want to experience this movie.
What's that?
I want to put it into my brain.
What is it?
Cats.
Oh, did you see? Oh, so this is the first movie they're like patching. Did you see that?
Yeah, because they didn't finish it. They just cut it out. And it's like, oh my gosh.
I love the
idea
idea of that.
Could you imagine how many people, if I saw that movie and they come like, oh, by the way, we're sending out a fixed version of like finished effects, I'd be going to the theater like, give me my money back.
Yeah. Wait, you're telling me I saw a beta movie? This was pre-release?
But did you read any of the reviews?
Oh, yeah.
Oh my gosh.
This thing got ripped.
This movie is so bad. We
should see it together.
I'm predicting right now. In the next decade. This is my first, not just 2020 prediction for the year 2020.
Here it is.
My prediction for the 2020s for the next 10 years.
Write it down.
In the next 10 years. Cats is going to be a cult classic on the same vein as Rocky Horror Picture Show.
Infamous, yeah.
It is going to find that audience. Like, we are going to hate watch this thing.
Yeah.
We're going to watch this because it's so bad.
So if your favorite movie was Cats, awesome. Tell us about it.
Tell us about it.
I want to know.
I really want to know.
We need to see it. So anyways, like?
Comment. Oh, and subscribe.
Comment. Subscribe.
And I guess you gotta ring the bell. Not a sex thing.
Is it?